How is it going, everyone? It's Caleb Limit here, and today we're going to be talking about a game on the Nintendo Switch. It's a game from the eShop, which the eShop has been a controversial topic recently because a lot of people are accusing the eShop of having too much shovelware, and I guess you could probably consider this game part of that shovelware. However, it's not a terrible game. It's just not a good game either. It's just somewhere in between. We're going to be talking about Aquapark I.O., and this is basically a mobile game that was put onto the Nintendo Switch. Now, I didn't know anything about this game. I just picked it up because I thought it would be fun. I saw the premise and I thought it was kind of cool. You know, a racing game where you're racing down water slides and you're able to like jump off the water slides and fly through the air and land further on the slide and everything. I thought it was a cool idea. The only problem with that is that it's definitely cheaply made. There's definitely issues with it. But it still is a good time waster. I think that's the best way to describe this game. It's a good time waster. It's not necessarily a good game, but it's just a good way to pass the time when you're on like a road trip or something like that. But I didn't realize that this game actually had a decent following behind it. Apparently this game had gone viral a few times. I didn't know that when I bought it. I just saw it. I was like, oh, cool, a racing game where you were racing on slides instead. I like racing games, and this is different. So I picked it up, and then I was just like, I'm going to look it up on YouTube and see if anyone's actually talked about this game. And I looked it up, and all of a sudden I see, like, these, like, bunch of YouTubers with millions of views on their videos. And I'm just like, okay, apparently people do know what this is. But, yeah, I had never heard of it before. And, honestly, I'm guessing the reason why it got so many views, like so many of the videos of this game get so many views, is probably because it's a free mobile game so anyone can play it. So if I had to guess, it'd probably be for that reason, because the game itself, it's not that great. It's not good enough to really have millions of views, if I'm being honest. So, but it is easily accessible. The game itself, it's okay. You're racing down water slides, and you have a few different ways to win. It's all point-to-point races. You start from the top of the slide, and you're racing to get to the bottom of the pool. And there's a few different ways to do it. You can race all the way on the slide, pick up coins while you do it, pick up gems and stuff like that, and you can knock the other racers off. You always start in last place, and you have to get, into first place, and you can knock the other racers off the slide and send them flying, and it will give you kills for it, and it will give you more coins for doing that. You can win by doing that, or you can do it a much funner and a lot cooler way, and you can just launch your character off the side of the ramp, and basically you can deploy a parachute and start flying through the air and land further on the track that way. And you can land, even if you wanted to, you can skip the rest of the track and maybe even land in the water, which is pretty cool. It all depends how the level is generated, because the levels in this are actually procedurally generated, which is pretty cool, because you get a lot of different options this time, and it gives you a lot of replayability because of that. So that's actually one of the things I like about the game. The only bad thing about the procedurally generated levels is that sometimes the environment, there's a lot of different environments that you get in this game. You play through the campaign, and it will give you, like, a fall levels. There's some levels that have mountains in them and stuff like that. Some that have, like, skyscrapers and stuff. Sometimes, because it's procedurally generated, the water slide will actually phase through some of the mountains, and it'll phase through some of the buildings and stuff like that. And luckily, there's no substance to the buildings or to the mountains or stuff, so you just slide right through them whenever you hit them. But it is a little bit distracting whenever that happens, and it is a flaw of the procedurally generated levels. But that's the main idea of this game. It's a point-to-point racer where you have a couple of different options to win the race. If you race and you just launch your character off and you try to land in the pool that way from the beginning, you're basically going to miss out on all the coins and all the gems that you can pick up to unlock more character skins and to unlock more different, like, floaties and stuff like that, and to unlock different parachutes. So it kind of does encourage you in a way to stay on the track and try to collect coins. That way you unlock more stuff, and you can also upgrade your stuff. But launching off the course, you're more likely to win, and it's a lot quicker. It's a lot more fun, in my opinion. I like just ramping off the course instead. You may not get, the extra coins and stuff like that, but it's just more fun to do it that way, in my opinion. Now, the worst thing about this game is, this is the biggest problem I have with this game. If it was just what I said, and that was all the problems I had with the game, I think that it would be pretty much like a fair game to pick up, especially for the price. I picked this game up for really cheap. It was on sale for $2.50 for the complete edition. So it has like a bunch of DLC and stuff with it, a bunch of DLC characters and everything. But I think if it was just that, I'd be like, go ahead and pick this game up. It's it's a fine game for what it is. It's not something you play on the TV, but it's something you'd play on the go quite a bit. But this game has a really big flaw, and that's the rubber banding. There should not be rubber banding on any video game in this day and age. There should not be any, period. Like, we left the rubber banding days a long time ago. It should not be a thing. This game has some of the worst, if not the worst rubber banding I have ever seen. You can get ahead of everyone, and then it will just start giving the characters behind you random speed boosts, and they'll just boost right past you randomly. And that may sound like, all right, well, you know, it just sounds like regular rubber banding. It gets worse. You can launch yourself off of the the slide, and you can fly all the way to the end of the level, right in front of the pool, and you can land on the slide again. And when you do that, there's nobody else around you. No one else flew off and ramped off the side of the slide. But somehow they just pop up right behind you again, and they can pass you at the very last second. It like just will spawn them right behind you so they can pass you again. And it's just like, okay, that is a big flaw. That is a big flaw. And it's one of those things where, you know, it's a mobile game that's on the Switch. So I don't really expect too much from it. But this feels like a really easy thing to just not do, you know? It's not a big deal, because at the end of the day, you know, it's like, well, you get first, second, or third, it will still progress to the next level. But it's just a little bit aggravating. It's kind of like one of those things where it's less of a thing that makes you mad, more of a thing that makes you eye roll, like, really? Like, you really are going to rubber band me? You know, in this game when I clearly, there's no one else around me. Like, you're really going to do that? I think that's the thing. It's so ridiculous how bad the rubber banding is. It's just more of a eye roll moment than an actual rage-inducing moment. You know, there's some games, some retro games that will make you rage when you see the rubber banding. This one just makes me roll my eyes because it's just so ridiculous that it almost makes me laugh. It's so bad. But that's the biggest flaw with this game. So if you do not like artificial difficulty, the game's not difficult at all, by the way, but just in terms of the artificially trying to make the game harder than it actually is, that may hold this game back for you, because I always think that stuff's really cheesy, and again, it shouldn't exist in this day and age, but it does, and it's there. But if you can pick it up for, you know, the price I did, pick it up for around $2, or, you know, even if you gotta go up to $5, I don't think that's a bad deal for it. But either way, if you can pick it up with all the extra content and everything for a cheap price, it's not a good game. It's not something that I would sit and play on the TV, you know, on the big screen TV and sit back and just play this at home. I did that to capture the footage, but I would never do that just to have fun. You know, this is something I played, and I played the majority of it on the go. Like, this is a good game to play on the go. It's a good time waster. It's not a good game, but it is a good way to pass the time if you were just wanting something simple, something stupid that you can just throw on, play, and then turn off and not have to worry about. That's what this game is. It has a lot of characters to choose from. You can pick a lot of different characters. You know, the graphics are terrible, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's a mobile game. I'm not expecting it to be great, and it's really cheap. I'm not expecting it to be, you know, a fantastic looking game. It's just a game that passes the time, and that's all it is. So if you want a game that you can literally just pick up, put down, and if you're looking for a game that's really only something that you play on the go, maybe check this one out. I'm not going to give it a full recommendation because I don't think it should probably have a full recommendation. But if you want to try it out, you can also try out the mobile version on your phone. Now, this game is $5 on the Switch just for the base game alone. I do not think that's a good deal. Do not get just the base game for $5. Get the complete edition when it drops on sale below $5. You know, don't spend more than $5 for this game. Don't spend more than $5 for the complete edition. Wait for it to go on sale. That's what I say when it comes to this game. And I do want to say there's also one other negative thing that I want to cover real quick before I end the video. There is not really a whole lot of sound for this game. There is one song in the background. I never noticed any song change. It sounded like it was the same thing over and over again, and it's very repetitive, and it will drive you crazy. I got to the point where I almost just wanted to turn the music off because it was just so repetitive. And then the other thing is that there's not a whole lot of other sound. Like, sometimes the characters make noises, but there's not really any water noise or anything like that. There's not, like, you know, ambience. This game doesn't have any ambience, you know. It's your characters making noises and the music, and that's it. And so it feels really, this game feels really dead because of that. So I did want to throw that out there. So that's where I'm going to leave it for this video. If you can pick up the complete edition for less than $5, that's not a terrible deal for this game. But overall, this game is really just a good time waster, and that's all it's good for. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.